So, good morning, everybody. So, for this morning, for today's session, what I've done is I have built a little robot, built it last night, and I used one of the lesson plans from the um, app itself because then it means that following on from today's lesson, Mr. Ronald and his colleagues can actually start. We look at how to start it in the lesson, and then they can explore themselves after. And I've all coded it. So I'm going to show it to you first. So here it is. It's a little robot. And the idea of the robot is that it's able to, um, it's if you're doing your exercises, your sit-ups and that it can do the counting for you. So the lesson plan is on the app. So we look at all that after. So I'm going to share my screen because no, I don't need to share the screen first. Sorry, I have to show you the robot moving. I'm thinking the wrong way around. Let me just get the code activated. So I have coded it. And then after I will share my screen and show the code. So I've coded it and now we'll see what you can see before I start the code. Then can you see the robot?
You just need to move the screen down slightly, Nuala.
Tell me when you can see it,
that's
Linda.
perfect. That's perfect.
So I'm going to put it on now. And you'll see it moving and it moves, it makes sounds. So okay. So you can see there that it has light, it has sound, and it has movement. So um, we're using the hub and we're using the sensors, and we had to create it. So that's kind of just how what you can do. That's very basic what you can do with it. You know, you can have the robots moving all the way around the table, and you can have them picking up things and building things and everything. That's just a pretty basic one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share the screen and show you where I got all the instructions for building it. And I'm going to show you the code. And then once you've seen all of that, what we will do is we'll look at maybe starting it, how I would start it, how I would start getting the pieces ready, laying them all out, because there are a lot of pieces in the set. And what you need to do first is identify all the pieces that you need and put them together so that you have everything in front of you when you're building. Because otherwise, you're going to be in the box all the time looking for pieces, and that can take a long time. So that's how I did that yesterday. I just got all the pieces ready first. So then they were all on tray this morning, and I was able to build it pretty quickly. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to bring you into the. I'll be going now from one screen to another for a minute just to as I want to explain. So I started. Is that okay? Can everybody see that now?
Yeah, everybody can see it. Yeah.
And if anything goes wrong, you can't see. Just give me the nod, Linda, please.
Yeah.
So I went into the link that we shared with you on Monday, the legoeducation.com, the website, and I clicked on Prime. And then I came down and I went to unit plans. The reason I chose that is because these are where the lesson plans are. And if you want to get the coding and everything, you need to go into the lesson plans. So I went in here to the lesson plans, and we will send the link specifically for the lesson plan. But I went in there, and I have to get into the lesson plan 4490. And it says STEAM lesson plans for Lego Education Solutions. We'll share that link. And there's loads of lesson plans there. And I was just looking at it and I thought I'll go for a life hack. That's where I found this. And I was looking for one that hadn't too many steps in it to get us up and running. So I came down and I chose the second one, the lesson 2. It just says it uses variables to count the number of sit-ups and calories burnt during a workout. So that's the one I chose, and I click on that and it brings me into a lesson plan. And it gives you is that okay? Yeah, it gives you lots of instructions. It gives you the code and everything. So what you have to do then is for the teacher, you have to click down, you get your building instructions. So we have the building instructions. I have them opened here. And once you open up the building instructions, it gives you a step by step. We'll come back to that in a few minutes because we're going to start building it. It gives you a step by step instruction on how to actually build it. When you've a built, you then have to add the coding. And the lesson plan gives us the code as well. There it is. And it's quite large there. There's the model itself, and there's the code for building it, or for moving it. So the first step really is always to build your robot. And once it's built, then you can code it. And we're using the blocks for coding that are built into the system. So where do I start, I suppose, is the question. So I have to go back to the home page, and I have to go here into new project because we're creating a new project. And I have to choose word blocks. We looked at that yesterday or Monday because that's what we are using to create to get our movement. We're using the word blocks. Now, the first piece will always be there for us when the program starts. So that's built in to it. So we don't have to put that in. So then I had to add in the code. Now the code was on the lesson plan, so it made it quite straightforward for me. So I'm going to go over to where I have the code and I'm going to show it to you here, but I'm going to redo it so that you can see what it actually means. So the first thing I had to do, all of this was on the lesson plan, so I didn't make it up. But there are lots of different ways of adapting it once you've made it up. But this is the basic to get you up and running. So the first piece was there when the program starts. So that's actually an event. I'm going to repeat the code over on this slide so that you can see how I actually did it. So I come over here, you just click on it, you drag it over. And this is your stage, I suppose, for creating your code. This is where you do your writing. This is like the page where you write your code. This was blank when I started. The next thing I wanted to do was get the motors to move. And the motors are these. I don't know if you can see. These are the two motors. There are two motors on this robot. Right? So the first thing I had to do was I wanted to set it at a certain speed, the motor, so that it would move at a certain speed. So I had to take out one of these. And I have options there, but I'll come back to them. You have A, B, C, D, E. It depends on where it's plugged into the hub. I'll explain that later. Sorry, I pulled the wrong thing out. So it set the speed. So I need to set the speed, and we're going to go for 50%. Because that's just a good speed for it for this particular robot. So that's one of the motors. I have to do the same to the other motor because we have two motors on this robot. So I have to repeat that, set the speed over here. And I'm going to change that. I want it to rotate the opposite way. If it rotates the same way, then it doesn't work. So instead of 50%, I have to say minus 50%. All of that becomes, I suppose, more clear when you are experienced at doing it. Then the next part is I had to drag out the next piece, which was start the motor. Okay. Now I'm not going to go each part of this because I don't want to confuse things, but that's basically how I start the code. If I bring out something that I don't need, I can just click and I can delete the block. Or if I have something out that I don't need from my code, I can just put it back either. You have a choice, you can drag it back. If I take out a block that I want to duplicate, have two of those blocks, I can actually right click here and I can duplicate the block so that I have two of them and I don't have to keep dragging them out. Sometimes that's a good option. I'm going to delete that block. I'm going to delete this block. Now this is very similar to the scratch coding. Isn't that correct, Brendan?
Yeah, you're correct. 100%.
It's very similar. It doesn't have all the different pieces of it, but it's very, very similar. And then we have I just go through another little bit. Then we have the events piece, and the events are this color, and the events are when I want to, no, sorry, we have control. I want to wait. So I bring out this one for a second because I just want to show how this works. So I start the motors, and you may not have noticed, but there's the lights come on it as well. And I want to light it up, basically. It's just an aesthetics thing. So I go to the sensors piece here, and you can see it's showing me the picture there, the image of the light sensor, and I drag that over here, and it slots in here. They slot in like that, they fit in. And the code was actually left side up, I think. Yeah, something like that. And I move on. I'm not going to put in all these. I'm going to where the sound was because you should have heard sounds. I hope you did. And I want to play a sound. Now, I wasn't playing the cat meow, and I want to show you how that works. On the one I have, it's a whistle we have and a jumping sound. The cat meow sound is built in there. So if I want to import another sound, I right click on this and I have them there now, but I could add any sound in I wanted. I could choose an applause sound and I could put that in, or I could choose any sound I like, I can choose. And then when I put the arrow down, I have the choices. I could add in applause there instead of sports whistle.
And Nuala, just a quick interruption. And if you haven't shared sound when you were sharing the screen, and we can't hear the sound, but it's just to let you know, if you're trying to let us hear the sound on this.
Put on the robot again and see, or tilt again. Can you see it?
I think once you have shared screen, yeah, we won't hear it, but it's fine.
I'm going to stop the share for a second.
Yeah, and if you reshare with sound, you'll get it.
Oh yeah. Yes, I get you. Sorry. Share sound.
Yeah.
I'll show them. So if I want to bring in a new sound in here, if it's not built into what I'm looking for, that's what I was trying to explain. Sorry. I don't know what's, oh yeah, we'll say it's this sound. No, it's not. I'll go back in a minute. What's going on here? There we go. No, I'll come back to this. What's happening here?
Perfect.
They're the sounds that I built into the original program. You can see them over here. Sports whistle. You can hear the whistle at the beginning. You can hear the jumping, supposedly, and then you can hear the whistle at the end. they're the sounds that I imported in for the actual robot that I've made. I'll just play that again so you can hear the sounds. And there's a whistle at the end. So what my robot is actually doing is it's following all the instructions that are built here. It's telling me from the very beginning that the speed of each motor is set to 50%. The motor starts moving, and that's why it goes up and down. The light on the hub, I'll stop the sharing for a second. The light goes on. You can see the different shape light. It moves up and down. You can hear the whistle, you can hear the jumping sound, and all of that. And they're the two motors that we're talking about. So when we're looking at the code, when it says set motor, these are the two motors, and they enable it to move up and down. And they also then, when we add in the sound blocks, they add in the sounds for us. And the sounds come from the actual laptop. And this can change. You can have whatever color you want on this. That's what all that means. So to kind of explain it all in one go, but that's basically what it means. Okay, I'm back to sharing again. So you keep going down, you follow the instructions on the lesson plan that we will share with you after, and you put in your code, and you then try it out you have your robot built, and the way you try it out to make sure it's working is, to move this out of my way, you press this arrow here, and that's giving my robot its instruction to start. And you can see I've in there repeat 5. So that means he does the movement 5 times. He does the jump 5 times. I can change the code now slightly here, just to give you an idea. If I change that repeat to 8 times, and let's change the sound, just to show you how that might work. So I'm going to add a sound. And instead of whistle, I'm going to go for, I don't know, a bang maybe. So I'm going to click on this bang. And when I come over here now, I should have bang there instead. I can change it. When he's jumping up and down, I could also change the sound to something different. There's loads of sounds in the bank. So I could go for, I don't know. We'll go for bing bong. We'll go for that one, just to be a bit different. You can just see then how we can change our code without changing everything. So instead of the whistle at the beginning, and I'm also changing this one here to bing bing. So we won't hear the jumping sound, and then we'll hear a whistle at the end. And I'm just going to stop the share. I'm going to show you the robot since I've adapted the code. Sorry, no. Can you see that? See if it makes any difference.
Nuala, I don't think we can hear the sound because it's not, you've a built-in speaker. So I think
you can't hear the sound, Linda.
Yeah, it's only because I think you're using a built-in speaker, but I don't worry. I think, yeah.
I get you. It's not, it's because it's the laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did the sound work on it?
Yeah,
in the
it
beginning? No.
It worked perfectly when you were sharing your screen. So I think you got a good idea on
Okay.
that.
Try that again. I'll just try that again and see.
Unless you lift it towards where you're speaking, it might work. So if you lift the robot,
I'll try and do it a different way. Yeah, I'll try it a different way now. You just I forget all that so long since I've so share. Now I'm gonna try, and you'll have to direct me now, please. So can you see the robot?
Yes, that's perfect.
Now hopefully you'll hear the sound this time. That work?
Yeah, Nuala, if you would you mind doing that once again, because I've just muted everybody else because it's picking up the sound from the others.
Great.
So if you do that once more, I
Okay.
think that will be perfect.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you see the robot? Great.
Yes, perfect.
You hear sounds that time?
That worked brilliantly. And I'm just going to
What I'm
now
going to
also
do,
say that this is probably a good natural break for the change in Zoom link, if that's okay with everybody.
perfect, and then we'll start building.
Yeah, so everybody, can you come off this particular Zoom account and go into the backup one? Mr. Ronald, is that okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, so we'll all jump off this now and see you on the other link. Thank you.